Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the all-new 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan. This is an SEL R-Line trim level. Huge shout out to FOURR Volkswagen for providing this SUV for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. This Tiguan is finished off in a sandstone gray, and the MSRP is just over $43,000. Now this is powered by the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 201 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the 4Motion all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,800-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 7.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 114 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons, and you'll expect to see 22 miles per gallon in the city and 30 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 109.9 inches. Its overall length is 184.4. It has a width of 73, a height of 66.1, and the all-wheel drive versions have ground clearance of 7 inches. Now, as we move on to the exterior styling, this has a lot of differences compared to the previous generation. You'll notice first up, there's LED lighting, which is not new, but there's also a DRL strip that runs all the way towards the VW badge right in the middle. So that DRL gives it a really nice look, and then the dark housings blend in nicely with the rest of the gloss black accents. Now this model also features a forward-facing camera. There's some cutouts in that grille too, along with parking sensors in the lower section and a lot more cutouts. Now there's also active grille shutters located in the back there to open and close as needed. And there's also huge inlets on both sides with more of the gloss black accents to provide some better airflow. And then really subtle lines coming down the hood just to give it a nice stylish look. Now this model also has a two-tone design for these wheels, and you'll notice the fender arches are finished off in gloss black, so tying in with the front end design. There's also an R badge just underneath the side mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal, and then they have the body colored mirror cap. You'll notice there's some chrome for the window trim, brushed accents for the roof racks, and then a full moonroof up top. And then as we take a step back, really nice proportions and the lines that run down the side. And the new Tiguan is also a 2-row SUV now instead of having the 3rd row. So it is a little bit shorter in that back panel there simply because it does not have that 3rd row anymore. But it has a really nice design to it. And you'll notice too in back that trim accent comes all the way to the back of the vehicle where there's some gloss black accents, body colored spoiler with the 3rd brake light. Wiper blade is in the lower section, and then as you can tell with the illuminating lights, the Volkswagen badge also lights up red, which is neat to see. There's LEDs for all of that lighting, of course, backup camera, all of the parking sensors, and then you'll notice some plastic for the lower section of the bumper there. Now this does have remote start, so if you lock on it and double tap this button, you can start it up as needed. And then you can just double tap that again, shut it off, and you have lock and unlock and the liftgate release. If you don't want to use the key fob, you can use the control underneath to open up that power operating liftgate. Now in back, there's still a decent amount of space. You do have some storage underneath the floor, so just by lifting this up, there's a spare tire. You might be able to fit a few items down there, but there's also this massive cubby on the left side. Now you can also fold down the back seats from the back, so that's very convenient to do. And then you'll notice you have some hooks as well, the dome lights. There's a 12 volt and then a little bit of storage tucked away up front there. So definitely plenty of space for this smaller SUV. And then you can easily close the liftgate. Now, if the vehicle is locked for whatever reason, there's no proximity door handles on the back, but you can simply just grab the front or the key fob to unlock them. Really nice design for this interior. This features Harman Kardon for the sound system. There's a good bit of storage down below, some stitching on the armrest there. And then from this angle, you can see you can remove this cover, of course, so you have a lot more interior space, and you can easily release the seat and lock it into place, where they have a 2-tone design for this model. So very nice to see that. Now at 5'10", it's extremely easy to hop into the back. You do have storage pockets, there's vents in the middle, you get heated rear seats along with the auxiliaries below that, and then at my height, I have about 2 inches or so of headroom, but I can sit upright and be comfortable. Now these seats do not recline, but they are angled back slightly just to give you a little bit more comfort. Right in the middle, there's your cup holders and armrest, and then you have those small cargo windows to help see around this pillar in the back. So it's definitely very beneficial to have. Now up front, there's lock and unlock up top with the release handle. The side mirror adjustments, which are also heated and power folding. There's window controls, and then the liftgate release and more storage down below. Now this also has memory seating adjustments, and you get massaging seats, which is very nice. And then the rest of the automatic adjustments for these seats. And then again, it's a low SUV, so it's easy to hop into, where we are greeted with a solid and perforated leather steering wheel. The R logo is in the lower section there. And then to start this up, that is located with the 2 buttons that are also down below. So you can just push on that to start it up, where you'll notice a massive infotainment system along with the digital gauge cluster. Now on the steering wheel, on this right side, there's voice commands, the heated steering wheel adjustment, there's also tuning, a view button, and then on the left side, there's volume and all of the cruise control settings. So by using some of these controls, we can now go through the digital gauge cluster, where you can go through a good bit of information, and you'll notice the entire display will change depending on the information that you are viewing. So you'll notice you can pull up the navigation there, and you can also adjust what you would like to see on both sides. So you can even go to no display as well, so you won't have any info, but you'll still be able to see the TAC there. And you can also minimize those by pushing on view. So now you can see more of the navigation as you would like to see, and you can still pull up some more information on that side too. So very nice to be able to go through this. You can click on view one more time and change it. So again, just depending on how you want to view this information, it's very configurable, which is nice to see. Now on this left side, you have a little bit of storage down below. There's all the headlight adjustments, really nice wood trim accent that actually disappears behind the screen and goes to the passenger side. Now this also has a head-up display, so it's showing miles per hour at the moment. There's also leather for the dash. Really neat trim accent on this passenger side, where there's also the R logo on that far edge. And then working your way to this massive infotainment system, you have a lot to go through. You can bring up all these icons like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, get into the navigation. You can look at your climate adjustments, go through an off-road page too, so you can monitor the downhill assist, look at your steering angle too, and then you can even go into some of the displays here as well. Now there's also the ambient lighting, so you can change all of that. You can get into the seats as well for your driver and passenger, and even get into the massaging seats and your seating position. Now also up top, you can push on your favorites, and you can bring up some of these and add them as needed. There's also a shortcut to the engine start stop, navigation, and your phone. You can pull up your music. You can even add some more information depending on what you use the most. There's also a home button right in the middle in the lower section, so you can get to this angle. If you push on it again, you can get to a split view now to monitor all of this. Now also in the lower section, there's shortcuts to the heated and ventilated seats. You'll notice climate adjustments, so you can quickly push on those, and now you can view that in full screen, where there's also defrosters, the heated steering wheel, and you can get into the rear climates, even adjust the heated seats from up front, which is very helpful. You have where you'd like the air to go to, and then you can pull up the fan speed as well. There's temperature dials on both sides where you can use the screen, or you can just swipe your finger on this lower section. You can do the same thing with the volume right in the middle as well. And then to put this into reverse to show the camera system, that is located on the column for the steering wheel. So if I twist it forwards, that is for drive. Twist it towards yourself, that is for reverse. So you can bring up the camera system here, where you have a few different angles that you can get into. You can even pull that up in full screen and hide that top-down view away. There's also the park assist as well, so you have parallel parking, which is fantastic to see. And then park is located on the end of that stalk. Now there's air vents underneath that, and then you have cup holders with a little bit of storage, and then you'll notice you do have a volume button down below. So you can actually push on this though and choose what you would like it to be. So you have volume. If you click down on it, now we have different driving modes that you can go through, and you can even get into some of these active modes here. So you can actually change the atmosphere, where you are changing the gauge cluster and all of the lighting too. So pretty neat to see how configurable this center button is. And then there's the engine start stop and e-brake on both sides. Now there's also wireless charging down in the lower section here, along with some auxiliaries, and then there's plenty of storage located throughout this entire compartment where you have that removable tray. There's also plenty of space in the glove box, and then garage door buttons up top, touch sensitive dome lights, and controls for both the sunshade and sunroof. And then here's a look at visibility, where it's very easy to see. So you have quite a lot of glass for this SUV. As we set off behind the wheel now for the all-new Tiguan, this is a really cool refresh and redesign for this model. Now, the biggest change, aside from the exterior styling, some of the interior features, what's standard now, is that this is now a 2-row SUV instead of a 3-row SUV. So if you want a 3-row, you can go with other models, of course, to get that extra 3rd row. But I think this is a really good compact size for this SUV, and it just gives you a lot more practicality for cargo space and some better room for your backseat passengers. Now, I don't have too much experience with this model in general. We actually had one for a week that my brother drove, so if you want to see his impressions of it over the week of driving that, you can take a look at that separate video. For today, let's go ahead and put this into sport mode, and we'll give it a small acceleration. And we can get up to speed. Now, from what I have seen with the Tiguan over the last couple of years, the horsepower has changed slightly. And so now we're kind of back up to where it was, just over 200 horsepower. I think from what I have seen, at some point later in 2025, we'll see an addition of some more power for the Tiguan. But for now, this is what we have with either all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. That is an option to go with. So you have a lot of different trim levels for this, just depending on your budget and what you would like to get. Now, as far as its driving goes, it seems pretty nice for the few miles that I've put on it so far. You have a lot of visibility as well, which is great. So the sizing of the design of it and the windows is really nice to see. Seats are also super comfortable too. And at 5'10", I have about 2 inches or so of headroom. This is a height adjustable seat too, and it's definitely a nice vehicle for the money. With the amount of tech features that you get, it's kind of hard to beat for a brand new vehicle, especially today when vehicles are well over $50,000. The average price of a new vehicle today is right around 50 grand. This is pretty much fully loaded at this price point, and you get a very nice SUV. Now, this was also just filled up, and the range shows 620 miles for this tank. So not being a hybrid, not being a plug-in hybrid, no electrical components to this, 620 miles is extremely well for this type of vehicle. So if you are going to be racking up the miles, that is a lot of driving with fewer stops at the gas station, which is very impressive to see. And from second gear, still in sport mode, here we go. So there is an S mode that the vehicle will go into. So you have S4, or you can twist it again and go back into drive. So you will see a slight difference in the throttle response along with the shifting points when you put it into the S mode versus just normal driving. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the new Tiguan. Definitely a great place to be with all of the tech features that I've gone over, and you can see it's really easy to go through everything as well. I know there's a lot of complaints with vehicles going away from physical buttons, so there's really no physical buttons within this screen, but where everything is laid out, having everything in the lower section fixed basically, super easy to go through. One of the best screens that I've used where you can go through all of that without having those actual physical buttons. So I think that's a really nice integration that they have done in this model. And it's got a good bit of power in the low end there to get up and move. And then again, from what I've seen, there should be some more power being added to the Tiguan in late 2025. So we'll just have to wait and see with any changes that are coming up for this model, which it's already a new refresh and redesign. So it'll be interesting to see what's to come for the rest of the lineup and trim accents. You also sit pretty low. It's more of a crossover SUV, but you have a good outlook over the hood too, and a very easy vehicle to place and drive. So if you're in the city a lot, you're commuting into parking lots and things like that, as you would expect, it's going to be very easy to park, and it still offers a lot of interior space too. So you can pack this full of items, and it can be a very practical, smaller SUV if it's your only vehicle. But that is going to wrap it up for the new Tiguan. Once again, huge shout out to FOURR Volkswagen for providing this for me today. Take a look at their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.